All right, welcome back, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of I Might Be a Little Bit Dumb. So, what we have for you today is the G&G Hawk Talon. Now, when I did the unboxing, I called it the G&G Hawk Rook. Well, the Rook isn't even made by G&G Hawk. That's made by Serge Pachenko. It uses some G&G Hawk internals that we will get into, and it kind of looks like this Talon. Not really, but sort of kind of. When you get this knife, you get some lip balm. You do get the T6 so that you can take it apart, which is cool, and, business card. These are made, just in case anybody didn't know, in Idaho City, Idaho. US made, cool stuff, and all that. Now, if you're familiar with G&G Hawk, they have designed a lot of different mechanisms, from the Hawk Lock to the toggle detent to a whole bunch of other stuff. I've done other videos on their gear mechanisms and a lot of funky stuff that's cool. Sometimes not super practical, but still cool. And things like that. And a lot of people, not just Serge Pachenko, but a lot of other companies have used and adopted their parts and pieces with authorization, of course, and all of that good stuff. So I have never really been drawn to any Hawk knives. Now, the Deadlock is probably what they're the most famous for. It's an OTF that has zero blade play. The blade didn't move at all. And on your typical OTFs, there's going to be a little bit of wiggle, right? Because that's just how they work. Okay, there's been some controversy lately because somebody else came out with one that has zero blade play, and they call it the zero blade play. And maybe they just reverse engineered a Deadlock. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. You can get into that in the comments if you so choose, because that might be fun. But nothing against the Hawk knives. It's just not something that's ever really appealed to me. Even their shortcut box cutter thing I thought was, quite frankly, a little ridiculous for, I think, $600 or $750 for literally a utility box cutter that was a little fidgety, as is this. It has a unique sound, both the front flipper and the thumb stud, which I don't even know if these are really made to be thumb studs, because there's really not a lot of access. It's more like stop pin. They are milled around the edges and whatnot. If we take a close-up look, they are milled. Here's the stop pin pockets. And when it's all the way open, you have another stop pin pocket there. So it's really stop pins, but you can mostly access them if you want to use a thumb stud as a thumb stud. I do, of course, love this Mars Valley carbon fiber, I believe is what that's called. Nice backspacer, lanyard hole, and the grip clip, they call it. I am not a fan. You might be. That's okay. We're entitled to our own opinions. But you have to, it won't just push into your pocket. You have to release it, slide it into your pocket, and then let it go. And it does leave a lot of the knife sticking out. Let me kind of zoom back out. Yeah, it's going to stick out about yay far. So it does stick out quite a bit, and I'm not going for deep carry pocket clip, ultra concealable or anything, but this one does just stick out a lot to me. And I don't like the push button thing because, or not push button, but I don't really like this, having to remember to do that to put it in my pocket. And then sometimes when you're grabbing it to pull it out, oftentimes I grab it kind of by the clip to pull it out. Well, you're putting more pressure on it. And so sometimes it's harder to deploy from your pocket. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's get into some of the specs about this thing. They came out in November of 2024. So again, Dirk's a little bit dumb. And I'm doing this in August of 2025. So y'all have already seen it all. Everybody's already watched all the big, influencer, YouTuber, knife tubers, and whatever you want to call them, have already done all their videos on it. If you've been following my channel, I don't go for the hype. I don't try to be first with any videos. It's happened a couple of times, which is super cool. But I just talk about stuff. I don't care. If you watch it, great. If you don't watch it, that's also great. I have a full-time job that pays all my bills. I have fun with YouTube, and it by no means pays me anything versus the time I put in. So, you know what I mean? But there you go. All right, so closed, it's 4 3/4. Overall is 7 13/16. 3.35-inch blade with a 3.22-inch edge. Behind the edge is 0.015. Blade thickness is 0.153 out of M390. Weighs in at 4.4 ounces. Now the overall thickness, without the clip, at its thickest with the lock, there it is 0.624 if I count the lock. If you count just scale to scale, it's 0.554. Okay, it does run on bearings. The action is great. So the Hawk lock and the toggle detent. I'm not going to claim to understand it, but I will put a picture up here, or maybe overlay the whole screen, of a screenshot I took from Nick Shabazz's video where he took the Serge Pachenko Rook apart, which uses the same toggle lock. Because if you look inside, and it's going to be hard for me to show you, there's no detent ball. This is not a traditional folding knife. It's not a detent ball. There's not a lock bar. This isn't a push button lock or anything like that. And if you release the lock bar, the knife isn't going to come out like a traditional access lock or bar lock. No, that toggle detent is still holding the blade in. So basically there is a spring in here. There's two pieces of metal. And as you deploy the knife, there is a piece that pushes into the blade up in here that you have to overcome that spring here so that it will fully release. And so sometimes, and then when you get to here, you need to there's some spring tension. This is free right here, free swinging. But then it's got spring tension to close it. And then as you get it open, you got some spring tension to overcome there with the lock. So if I pull the lock back, because they're two independent springs and mechanisms. I know, I probably just confused the hell out of everybody, and I'm going to get the comments down below that says, you should really know what you're talking about if you're going to call it a review, because this was crap and I wasted 9 minutes or whatever the video is going to be to watch and really not understand what the lock is. Well, you do you. That's okay. I get it. I'm just giving you my thoughts and feelings. And it's a hard thing to explain and describe. And so hopefully the picture of the toggle lock kind of makes some sense. I will try to remember to put a link to Nick's video where he takes it apart if you want to go watch that. It's like 30 minutes long, but you got to scroll through a little bit and you can get to the lock. So there you go. This came from Knife Life. He has a YouTube channel here. He sent me a lot of things. I actually bought my Rockstead Cone fixed blade from him. This thing is crazy sharp, has a great edge, and will do a lot of great cutting. This is like really not a lot of effort I'm putting into this to cut this. It's really just cutting through very, very easily. So I will put a link to Knife Life's channel down below. And yeah, that fixed blade, the Cone Rockstead. My buddy Blades and Bullets still has it for an elk hunting trip, but I'm hoping he gets a big elk one year, at some point and can use it to field dress that sucker and get some great pictures because I want it to be used and sort of abused because I just don't care. It's just a knife. Use your junk, people. All right, let me know your thoughts down below. Be kind, but let me know what you think. Thanks, everyone.